The email notification hit my screen at 9:47 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. Quarterly Leadership Review, Conference Room B-2 p.m. 30 years I'd been waiting for that email. 30 years of building systems, training managers, and keeping production lines running when everybody else went home. I figured this was finally it, my shot at VP operations. My name's Warren Thompson, though. Everyone calls me Mac. I'm 58 years old, been with Ironworks Manufacturing Solutions since I got out of the Army back in '93. Started on the floor, worked my way up through quality control, then operations management. Built every protocol we use, trained half the supervisors we got, and kept our defense contracts running smooth as glass. That afternoon, I walked into Conference Room B wearing my best tie and carrying a folder full of efficiency reports. Harrison Walsh, our CEO, sat behind a polished table that probably cost more than my truck. He was scrolling through his phone, making me stand there for a good 30 seconds. Classic power play. Mac, take a seat, he finally said, not looking up. We've been reviewing the succession planning for VP operations. Here it comes, I thought. 30 years of 60-hour weeks, emergency calls at 3 a.m., missed family dinners, all about to pay off. Your production numbers are solid. Walsh continued. 99.2% on-time delivery, 0 safety incidents for 18 months. Really impressive work, Mac. Thank you, sir. I've been working on integrating the new automation protocols with our legacy systems. Finally got them talking to each other properly. Walsh waved his hand like I was discussing the weather, right? The technical stuff, that's what I want to talk about, Mac. You're old school, and we value that. But the VP role, that requires vision. Digital transformation. We need someone who can disrupt our processes, not just maintain them. My grip tightened on the folder. I'd heard this speech before, usually right before they brought in some consultant to fix what wasn't broken. We're promoting Jordan Martinez to VP Operations. Effective Monday, Walsh announced. The silence hit like a hydraulic press. Jordan, kid had been here 3 years, fresh out of Harvard Business School. I'd spent the last 6 months fixing his routing errors because he kept confusing production capacity with storage capacity. Jordan has great energy, fresh perspective, Walsh continued. McKinsey background, understands data analytics. You know the technical side inside and out, but we need someone who can think strategically. Sir, with respect, I've been thinking strategically for 30 years. Who do you think designed the integration system that handles our Northrop Grumman contracts, right? And that's exactly what I'm talking about, Mac. You're focused on the nuts and bolts. Jordan sees the big picture. He's got this whole digital transformation roadmap. Walsh stood up, signaling the meeting was over. You'll be reporting to Jordan starting Monday. I need you to show him the ropes, teach him the operational details so he can focus on strategy. I stood up slowly. My knees creaked. 30 years of walking concrete floors. Of course, sir, I'll give Jordan exactly the support he needs. Great, and Mac, try to be more collaborative in meetings. Your tendency to get bogged down in technical details affects team dynamics. I walked out of that conference room feeling like I'd been sucker punched. The hallway smelled like fresh paint and broken promises. I didn't slam any doors or make a scene. I went back to my workstation, sat down, and stared at the 3 monitors that controlled $200 million worth of defense manufacturing. Walsh wanted me to focus on the nuts and bolts. He had no idea that I was the nuts and bolts, and he just stripped the threads. That night, I sat at my kitchen table with a copy of my employment contract and a bottle of beer. The house was quiet, been living alone since my boy Danny died in Iraq back in '08. His picture on the mantle watched me read through 30 years of fine print. Kid would have been 31 this year, probably following in his old man's footsteps if that roadside bomb hadn't taken him primary duties. Oversee daily production schedules. Coordinate with quality control departments. Generate weekly operational reports. Maintain safety compliance documentation. I read it twice. Nowhere did it say maintain proprietary automation integration system. Nowhere did it say provide 24/7 emergency technical support. Nowhere did it say train senior management on legacy system operations. See, what Walsh didn't know was that our whole operation ran on a custom integration system I'd built over the past 5 years. The company's standard software couldn't handle the complexity of our defense contracts, different security clearances, specialized materials, tracking, real-time compliance monitoring for military specifications. So I'd written a middleware system that connected everything together. Company didn't own that code. I'd built it at home on my personal computer, brought it in on flash drives, installed it under my user credentials. The system thought it was just Warren Thompson's productivity tools, not critical infrastructure. I pulled up my laptop and navigated to the automation folder. One file, Defense Ops Integration EXE minus 5 years of nights and weekends, thousands of lines of code that kept our contracts flowing smooth as butter. They wanted fresh perspective, digital transformation, time to show them what that actually looked like. I right-clicked on the scheduled task that ran my integration system every morning at 5 a.m., selected Disable. Are you sure you want to disable this task? The dialog box asked, I thought about Jordan's MBA presentation on synergistic optimization. I thought about Walsh's comment about getting bogged down in details. I thought about 30 years of loyalty getting rewarded with a pat on the head and orders to train my replacement. I clicked yes. For the first time in years, I slept 8 hours straight. The breakdown started Thursday morning at 10 to 23 a.m. I was updating safety compliance reports when I heard the first signs of trouble, phones ringing, keyboards clicking faster than normal, then voices getting louder near the production control center. Why are we showing 47 pallets in queue when the manifest says 23? Someone shouted. I kept typing, safety report due at noon, and Walsh had been very clear about prioritizing assigned duties. My desk phone rang. Jordan's extension. Mac, I need you in my office right now. Jordan's voice was tight. We've got some kind of system glitch. I saved my spreadsheet and walked over to Jordan's office, my old office, actually. He'd already replaced my whiteboard full of production schedules with motivational posters. One showed a mountain climber with innovate or die in bold letters. What's the situation? I asked. Jordan was standing behind his desk, staring at 3 monitors showing red error messages. The production tracking system isn't syncing with quality control. We've got finished goods sitting in staging with no release authorizations. Northrop's shipment is supposed to leave in 2 hours. I looked at his screens. I knew exactly what was wrong. Without my integration system running, the production database couldn't communicate with the quality management system. They were operating on different security protocols, different data formats. My middleware had been translating between them for 5 years. Looks like a synchronization issue, I said calmly. You might want to check the API connections. Can you fix it? Jordan asked. Just do whatever you normally do. I don't have authorization for system architecture changes, I replied. When my role was restructured, my admin privileges were revoked. Security protocol? You'd need to grant me temporary elevated access. Jordan stared at me. You're telling me you can't help. I'm telling you I can't access the core systems without proper authorization. If I log in with unauthorized credentials and something goes wrong, I could be terminated for security violations. Company policy. Jordan grabbed his phone and called IT. 20 minutes later, a technician arrived and spent an hour trying to restart the connection. The kid had no idea what he was looking at. The error logs were in technical language that would take weeks to decipher. By 3 p.m., the Northrop shipment was 5 hours late. By 5 p.m., Jordan was sweating through his shirt, making increasingly frantic phone calls to vendors who couldn't help him. I finished my compliance reports and went home at exactly 5:30 p.m., standard hours as specified in my job description. The second wave hit Friday morning. Without my system running the weekend batch processes, Monday's production schedule was completely scrambled. Raw materials were ordered for the wrong product lines. Quality control inspections were scheduled for parts that hadn't been manufactured yet. The loading dock looked like a jigsaw puzzle someone had thrown against a wall. Jordan called an emergency meeting at 8 a.m. The conference room was packed with supervisors, all looking confused and tired. Jordan stood at the front, his usual confidence replaced with barely controlled panic. We're experiencing some temporary integration issues, he announced. IT is working on a permanent solution, but we need manual workarounds until then. Amy Fletcher, one of our best production coordinators, raised her hand. Jordan, the system is telling us to ship product line A before we've even started manufacturing it. The sequencing is completely backwards, right? So we'll need to manually override those sequences. Jordan replied, Mac, you know these systems better than anyone. Can you walk us through the manual processes? I looked around the room. These people weren't the enemy. They were good workers trying to do their jobs. Amy had 2 kids at home, been with the company 8 years, but I had to hold the line. Manual overrides require supervisor-level access to the production control system, I said. That's outside my current authorization level. Jordan's face flushed. Mac, we need solutions here. Can't you just figure something out? I'm afraid that would be outside my job description, Jordan. The compliance department is very strict about staying within authorized roles, especially with defense contracts. One security violation and we lose our clearance. The meeting broke up with no resolution. Supervisors went back to their stations to improvise solutions that would take 3 times longer than normal. By Wednesday of the second week, the situation had gone from inconvenient to catastrophic. Production was down 65%. Our Northrop Grumman contract had penalty clauses, $10,000 for every day a shipment was late. We were already looking at $200,000 in penalties, with more piling up daily. Walsh called an emergency board meeting. I wasn't invited, but I could see through the conference room windows. Lots of pointing at charts, lots of grim faces. Jordan sat hunched over a laptop looking like a man watching his career dissolve in real time. That afternoon, Walsh appeared on the production floor. He wasn't smiling. He marched straight to Jordan's office and closed the door. Through the glass walls, I could see him gesturing angrily while Jordan sat with his head in his hands. 20 minutes later, Walsh came out and scanned the floor. His eyes found me at my workstation, Mac, my office. Now, Walsh's corner office overlooked the loading docks, which were eerily quiet. Usually at 3 p.m., we'd have trucks backed up waiting for shipments. Today, there were 2 trucks, both empty. "Fix it," Walsh said without preamble. He was standing by the window, looking out at the empty docks. "Fix what, sir?" Walsh turned around. "Don't play games with me, Mac. The integration system, the production tracking, whatever magic you've been doing for the past 5 years that's keeping this place running, do it." "I'm not sure what you mean, sir. The systems are working exactly as designed. They're just not doing what my personal tools used to do." Walsh stepped closer. "Your personal tools?" "Software I wrote at home on my own time using my own equipment. I'd been running it as a courtesy, but when my role changed, I removed my personal property from company systems." The color drained from Walsh's face. "You're telling me our entire operation was dependent on software you own?" "No, sir. Your operation is dependent on software you purchased. It's just not very good software. My tools filled in the gaps." Walsh sat down heavily in his chair. "What do you want, Mac?" I pulled a manila envelope from my jacket. "My friend Eddie Kowalski, he's a business attorney now, went to law school after he got out of the Marines. He helped me draft this. It's a licensing agreement for my integration software, along with an invoice for the past 5 years of usage." Walsh opened the envelope and looked at the number at the bottom of the page. His eyebrows shot up. $450,000 for a computer program? For a computer program that handles $200 million in defense contracts. That's less than 0.25% of annual revenue. Seems reasonable for something that's been keeping this company profitable for 5 years. Walsh stared at the paper. Outside the window, I could see workers standing around with nothing to do. Each day of shutdown was costing more than my entire licensing fee. "If I sign this," Walsh said slowly, "can you have everything running by tomorrow morning? I can have it running in 10 minutes. The software is already installed. I just need to reauthorize the API connections." "What about going forward? Monthly licensing fee plus a consulting retainer. Jordan can focus on strategy. I'll handle the technical implementation." "Jordan's out," Walsh said quietly. "Board decision an hour ago. Kid's got potential, but he's not ready for this level of responsibility." "Sorry to hear that," I said, though I wasn't particularly sorry. Walsh picked up his pen and stared at the contract. "You know what this is, don't you, Mac? This is extortion." "No, sir, this is business. You used my intellectual property for 5 years without compensation. Now you want to license it properly? That's just capitalism. You could have destroyed us." "I could have, but I didn't want to hurt the workers. Amy Fletcher's got 2 kids. Tommy Rodriguez just bought a house. These people aren't the problem." Walsh signed the agreement and slid it across the desk. "One condition, Mac. You personally guarantee the Northrop contract gets back on track. If we lose that account, this whole company goes under. Consider it done," I said. 10 minutes later, I was in the server room, logged into the production control terminal. I navigated to my integration software and clicked Enable Scheduled Task. The change was immediate. On the main floor displays, the red error messages flickered once, then disappeared. Production queues reorganized themselves. Quality control authorizations populated automatically. The loading dock scheduling system came back online. A cheer went up from the production floor. Phones started ringing with normal business calls instead of panic calls from angry customers. I watched from the observation window as the facility came back to life. Forklifts moving, conveyors running, supervisors actually smiling for the first time in 2 weeks. Amy Fletcher gave me a thumbs up from across the floor. That evening, I called Eddie to let him know the deal was done. We met at Murphy's Tavern, the same place where half the guys from the plant went after shift. Blue-collar joint with Budweiser on tap and the Lions game on every TV. "How does it feel to be independently wealthy?" Eddie asked, raising his beer. "Feels like justice," I said. 30 years of building something, and they wanted to hand it over to a kid who couldn't tell a torque wrench from a tire iron. "You think Jordan learned anything from this?" "Jordan learned that Harvard doesn't teach you how to run a machine shop. Walsh learned that experience beats credentials every time, and I learned that loyalty is a two-way street." Eddie grinned. "What's next for you, Mac? Early retirement?" "Not yet. Company's bringing in a new VP next month. Pete Rodriguez. actually knows manufacturing. I'll stay on as a consultant, make sure the transition goes smooth, but I'll be working on my terms now. 3 months later, I was sitting on my back porch at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday, drinking coffee and reading the morning news. The sun was shining, birds were singing, and my laptop showed green lights across all production metrics. The consulting retainer from Ironworks was deposited automatically every month, $30,000 plus equity participation if the company hit certain performance targets. I worked maybe 10 hours a week, mostly answering technical questions from Pete Rodriguez, the new VP operations. Guy actually knew manufacturing, had come up through the ranks at Ford before getting his engineering degree. Asked smart questions, listened to answers, treated people with respect. My phone buzzed with a text from Walsh. Northrop signed 3-year extension. Board approved your equity bonus. Thanks for saving the company. I set the phone down and looked at Danny's picture on the porch table. Kid would have been 31 this year. Probably would have made a hell of an engineer, maybe followed his old man into manufacturing. Would have had a good laugh at how this whole thing played out. The equity bonus was substantial, minus 2% ownership stake if the company maintained profitability for 24 months. At current revenue levels, that was looking at another $400,000 over 2 years. Not bad for a guy who was supposed to be old school. Pete had called the week before asking if I'd be interested in training the next generation of operations managers. We need guys who understand both the technical side and the human side, he'd said. These kids coming out of college know theory, but they don't know how to run a plant. I'd agreed to a mentoring program 2 days a week, working with junior managers who actually wanted to learn. No more training people who looked down on practical knowledge. No more wasting time with MBAs who thought experience was just legacy thinking. The irony wasn't lost on me. 30 years of giving away my expertise for free. And now companies were paying premium rates for the same knowledge. The difference was respect. When someone pays $30,000 a month for your advice, they listen. Amy Fletcher had been promoted to production manager, first woman to hold that position at Ironworks. She'd earned it, understood the systems, respected the workers, got things done without drama. When I'd congratulated her, she'd said, "I learned from watching you, Mac, sometimes you have to stand up for what's right, even when it's hard." The other plants in the region had started calling too. Word gets around in manufacturing, guy who saved Ironworks with his own software, turned a corporate betrayal into a consulting goldmine. Suddenly, everyone wanted to audit their operations, see what critical knowledge might walk out the door with their experienced workers. I'd taken on 2 more clients, both struggling with the same problem, decades of institutional knowledge locked up in the heads of workers who were approaching retirement. Companies that had spent years pushing out older employees suddenly realized what they were losing. The work was satisfying in a way the corporate grind never had been. I was solving real problems, working with people who valued what I brought to the table. No more pointless meetings about synergistic optimization. No more explaining why I couldn't just innovate away the laws of physics. That afternoon, I drove over to the plant to check on the new integration protocols Pete wanted to implement. The place looked different somehow, more organized, more purposeful. Workers moved with confidence instead of the stressed urgency I remembered from Jordan's brief reign. I found Pete in the engineering office, reviewing production schedules with Amy and 2 junior managers. When I walked in, the conversation stopped. Mac, Pete stood up. Perfect timing. We're planning the Q4 capacity expansion. Could use your input on the logistics integration. For the next hour, we talked through the challenges of scaling up production while maintaining quality standards. The junior managers asked good questions, took notes, treated the discussion like the important business it was. This was what leadership looked like, people working together, respecting each other's expertise, focused on getting the job done right. No ego trips, no corporate buzzwords, just professionals solving problems. As I was leaving, Amy walked me to the parking lot. "You know, Mac, I never thanked you properly for what you did. Standing up to Walsh and Jordan like that. It could have gone bad for all of us." "It did go bad," I said, "for about 2 weeks. But sometimes you have to let things break before people realize what was holding them together." Still took guts to disable that system. Most people would have just grumbled and gone along. Most people don't have 30 years of experience in their own software to fall back on, I replied. I had leverage. Seemed like a waste not to use it. Driving home, I thought about how different things could have been. If I'd just accepted the demotion, trained Jordan to use my systems, maybe kept my head down for a few more years until retirement. Would have been easier in the short term, but easy isn't always right. Sometimes you have to take a stand even when the odds look bad, especially when the odds look bad. The truth is, I'd spent 30 years thinking loyalty was a currency, that if I worked hard enough, stayed late enough, fixed enough problems, eventually the company would pay me back with respect and recognition. I was wrong. Loyalty is a two-way street. The company I'd given 3 decades to was perfectly willing to cast me aside for a younger, cheaper option. The mistake wasn't working hard. The mistake was giving away my value for free. If you're the person everyone calls when things break, if you're the one who knows how the systems really work, if you've built something irreplaceable, protect yourself. Document what you do. Know what you own. Don't train your replacement without guarantees. And when someone shows you what they really think you're worth, believe them. Then show them what happens when that value walks away. Sometimes the best revenge is just letting people face the natural consequences of their choices. You don't have to burn bridges. Sometimes you just stop maintaining them.